was not classified information in that document. Not share classified information. I did not share it.
With your ghostwriter?
With my ghostwriter, I did not. Guarantee you did not.
But the special counsel said in the report that
he did not say that.
Okay.
He did not say that.
But Mr. President,
let me answer your question. The fact of the matter is, what I didn't want repeated, I didn't want him to know, and I didn't read it to him, was I had written a long memorandum to President Obama why we should not be in Afghanistan.
That was President Joe Biden in a surprise news conference after the release of Robert Hur's, brother of Ben, report on his classified information and the documents and Corvette and all of that. Welcome to Wake Up Mid-Missouri. I'm Randy Tobler, along with guest co-host Ashley Emmel. How you doing, Dr. Ashley Emmel? I got to give you a microphone there. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good. And producer Hannah.
Hello.
And John Marsh down there. How you doing, buddy?
Yes, sir. Good.
All
Yourself?
Right.
He's agitated.
I'm agitated because
in a good way.
In a great way. It's Feel Good Friday, and I feel good because we're going to talk about politics and culture and all the morning and about President Biden's nefarious goings on and how he couldn't remember anything, and we'll have some fun too. No, we're going to have a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun to be had about President Biden's news conference last night in one way, because if you didn't laugh, you'd cry, right?
Yeah, you would. Sad.
Unbelievable,
it's
right?
Unbelievable.
And I think
he was not a happy camper.
No.
I haven't seen him that fired up, I don't think, ever.
And actually, for that time of the evening, at least at the beginning,
he's awake.
Isn't that normally cookies and milk and Betty by time for him?
He's in bed by then.
Pudding.
I don't know if any of us have any room to talk smack, though. We go to bed pretty early.
Look. First of all, before
Speak
we
for
get
yourself, Hannah.
Before we get too far along, look at where I'm sitting now, Hannah.
I don't know what to do to help you. I'm sorry.
John, this chair needs Viagra.
I think so.
Look at it.
In the hot seat there, aren't you?
Okay, I'm going to do it once more. This is just crazy. Hang on.
This is one of those examples of not everything being perfect in Randy's world, and so he's fired up.
You watch now. It's at its height right now. And before...
Well, if it's up there for 4 hours or more...
you should call the doctor.
Yeah.
I just need it to be up there for 3 hours. Well, welcome into Feel Good Friday, and we will continue to unpack President Biden's talk and what led to it, why the surprise news conference. If you were his handlers, would you have advised him to do that?
No.
Do we know if they maybe tried to prevent him? I don't know.
He might not have remembered if they told him that he couldn't do it.
Yeah, that could be. He got quite combative at one point. We will play that as well. So we have a lot to talk about all morning about that. We invite you to join in, 573-874-9390. Of course, it is the Super Bowl weekend. Big, big, big weekend for everyone, I think, in and around Missouri and Kansas and everyone who follows the Chiefs. So it looks like the line on the game has the 49ers favored by a couple points. Last I looked.
I think
yesterday it was 1.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I think that folks are just trying to make the Chiefs the villain because we're good.
Chiefs like being the underdogs.
Yeah.
So.
We tend to do well when we're in that slot, so bring it on.
Especially, and, everyone conjectured that, they were on the road this postseason for the first time. And how are they going to do? Man, they kicked some butt.
They did.
So it seemed to really motivate them.
That's right.
Well, the talk about the invincible 49ers, they're loaded for bear, but they showed the chinks in their armor last time around when Detroit put it on them in the first half.
That's right. I gave up on them in the first half. I thought, this game's over. I actually turned it off, and I came back like, what's this doing going on? So I don't know much about their quarterback, this Purdy guy. Is he like a new star, an up-and-coming star? I haven't really followed him much. I don't know.
Young guy, for sure.
Yeah, young dude. So, this is the battle of the Titans. We'll have to see what happens. We've got the young and upcoming guy full of you-know-what and vinegar, and we got Patrick Mahomes, whose wife posed for Sports Illustrated. Did you see that? She's going to be on Sports Illustrated. And I think he made some comments about that as well. She's in her own right. She's an influencer, isn't she?
She is. Yes, yeah. She is.
Was she an influencer before Patrick, or
she was quite the soccer player in her own right too?
Yes.
So and I think she's part owner of the Kansas City women's soccer team as well.
She is. Yes.
The KC Current.
Has she been really vocal about some of the transgender so-called women playing in, men playing in women's teams? I haven't heard her being very vocal.
I've not heard that.
I don't know. After she kind of was a little controversial a couple years ago. There was the infamous champagne shower off of the balcony at one of the NFL games.
Oh, I missed that.
Well, they were celebrating, and she shook up a bottle of champagne and kind of, poured it on the people underneath them because they were celebrating, and that didn't fare too well. I really think that maybe Patrick enrolled her in some media training classes. I'm serious, because a couple years ago, she was always doing things that were ticking people off. In the last probably 2 years, you haven't heard any of that stuff going on.
She's also matured, though, and become a mom, so maybe that's something too. That'll change you.
That does change.
She was a mom, at least to one baby, when the champagne incident happened. But
fair.
And of course, we had some pretty powerful arguments yesterday in front of the Supreme Court, where I believe it was the former Jason Murray, I believe is his name, but the guy that was arguing in favor of Colorado to take Trump off the ballot was arguing, and I believe he's a Gorsuch intern. He clerked under Gorsuch, and there was some interesting back and forth between Gorsuch and his former clerk. And I think most people are thinking it's going to be 8-1 or 9-0 that Trump's on the ballot. Mm-hmm. But to listen to that to those arguments, did you get any of those, John? Did you take a listen at all?
Yeah, well, I listened to the skim of it. It's funny, this morning, Dark 30 here in the station from across the hall. Here comes Kevin Hilly from 94.3.
Wow.
Cat Country, and he was like, man, I'm driving in, listening to the whole debate on Capitol Hill with the Supreme Court and all. So, I think it's resonating with people if even the country music guy comes in to talk to you about it.
It's pretty exciting. Was there any food that'd been on the ground for less than 5 minutes? Because watch out, Kevin will eat it,
He will. 5 hours.
For those of you who don't know, one day we were joking about leftover food in the fridge and how long will you tolerate that? Mm-hmm. And I have a pretty long span on that. I'll go for days. No?
No.
Not Dr. Ashley?
Like maybe 3 days.
3 days? Well, that's not bad. Talk to Brian Hansen on the Gary Nolan show. Oh my God. He's like 5 minutes is too much in the refrigerator. I mean, he's not a leftover guy.
When I grew up,
with that mindset, there would never have been the discovery of penicillin.
True. This is true. Growing up, my dad wouldn't eat leftovers. So, it wasn't like, we had leftovers, but my grandpa was the same way. Always wanted something new. So, a couple of days, and that was it.
Oh, I love the leftovers.
I think do too.
So one day we were talking about that, and it became a joke because, there were some things that were, the buns were getting hard on the sliders from the Saturday before. It was Thursday-ish, and I'm like, man, I'm starved, and I had one. And Kevin Hilly called in and said, well, I don't do the 5-minute rule. I don't do the 5-second rule. I do the 5-minute rule, as long as...
As long as nobody stepped on it.
573-874-9390, the number. And a reminder, let's mention it because, we're going to be talking to... a representative of the chili cook-off, I think, a little later on in the program. But
Mike
John,
Rhino.
For those of you who, and that's spelled R-Y-N-O, not R-I-N-O. Right?
That's
we want
right.
to make sure that we know that.
He's a rhino in name only.
But there's a fun event in Jefferson City for a great cause tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the Navy Club, Ship 5 at the American Legion Hall in Jefferson City. It's their annual chili cook-off, and it's for Camp Quality, the camp for kids with issues at the Lake of the Ozarks, and it all runs from about mid-morning tomorrow, and it's open to competition with individuals and commercial entries as well. So it's a fun one.
And you will be emceeing the event, right?
Yep, we're going to be there live and in person, and some celebrity judges and the whole 9 yards.
Now, will you be judging? Will you be part of the judge panel?
I will not be judging.
You will not be judging, but you will be partaking of some of the great chili, I presume.
Well, of course. It goes without saying,
Yeah.
And we have to speak about it knowledgeably unless you're sample.
We have to ask Dr. Ashley Emmel, with beans or without beans in your chili?
With.
With?
Definitely with.
All right. There you go. I think that seems to be the consensus, not Texas style. Right?
No.
Yeah, something about
beans.
the beans are good. Yeah, It's a little healthier that way too, right? The
Absolutely.
fiber in the beans and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the bacteria in your gut love those beans too.
Yes, because when you're eating chili, everyone's really concerned about making it healthy.
Well, back in the day, our stock line was we used our competition chili, labeled it as the 239 bean chili because one more would be 240.
Oh. Okay, John.
Nice.
John, we'll have to ask you to circle back around and see if you can do something better a little later. Okay.
I would bet on it. Talking
about the president, Kevin texts us, you can get cranky when you're up past your bedtime.
That's right. That's right.
I wondered about that because, I don't think they schedule any events for him after maybe late afternoon.
I think they might have done it on purpose, though.
Okay.
To, prove that he his mental sharpness is still there. I don't know.
Maybe he took out for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he took a long nap and was ready to go.
Oh boy,
it's a rough day for him.
And you got to wonder if maybe there's some medications that he takes on a twice daily basis that help him, through whatever he's going through, and take a little early dose.
I need some of that.
The nighttime dose.
You could have at least gotten him a coffee.
Now, do you know we've gone 19 minutes into the program here, and I haven't had one conciliatory, one supportive, one attaboy word from producer Hannah.
I know. I've been waiting for you.
Hannah.
Look what he's wearing.
Hannah.
For what? All you've done this morning is whine about your chair.
He's rocking the sweater.
He's wearing all red.
When you walked in this morning, I said, "Oh, you got your red on." Don't throw me under the bus like that, Doc.
But you're not sharing it with okay, that's okay. If you want to see the red sweater, you can do it on Facebook or on YouTube. Not on Twitter, though, right? Because it would get thrown off.
No, we do not stream to Twitter, no.
Okay, all right.
YouTube and Facebook, Wake Up Mid-Missouri.
Okay, before we get a step aside here for the daily DC rundown. By the way, Stephanie Bell is out. She's across the pond. She'll be back on Monday. Ashley M will co-hosting with us today.
Stephanie sent me an interesting photo last night.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Now, will you create suspense and drama like that? Are you going to share that after the bottom of the hour news?
Maybe.
Okay, that'd be fun. John, I have to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I walked in and I told producer Hannah, well, this is red day, and I'm not seeing a lot of red on your KC Chiefs. And there was a little red in the KC. And she said, well, that's red. I said, well, that's not enough. She says, but I have pink cheeks all the time. I am so. And I said, oh, aren't you Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farms? And I got that deer in the headlight looks.
I was like, oh, cool.
John, you know about Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, right? You've heard about that.
Certainly.
Okay, well, there you go. No one in the Zimmer Communications building.
This is why he's been crazy.
6 people today. Only Stephanie Bolts knew who Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farms is.
You're dating us there, Doctor.
I've been ageismed again. That's okay. We can take it. I call it.
It doesn't really sound like it.
It's the wisdom of time. The wisdom of time. It's 6:20. We'll be back on Wake Up Mid-Missouri. Stay there.
This is Wake Up Mid-Missouri.
To me, being a Democrat, I know that Democrat will take care of everybody. It's not just looking out for the rich.
after 9-10 months of investigation, releases the report. I wouldn't say it was an exoneration, but legally, Joe Biden is out of trouble in terms of the classified documents mishandling, but politically, a lot of trouble. He then trots out last night at about 7:45, and this is just a little snippet of what he had to say when he made the mistake of taking questions from reporters after a fairly reasonably cogent, although factually errant statement. Listen.
I share classified information. I did not share it.
With your ghostwriter?
With my ghostwriter, I did not. Guarantee you did not.
But the special counsel said in the report that
he did not say that.
Okay.
He did not say that.
But Mr. President,
let me answer your question. The fact of the matter is, what I didn't want repeated, I didn't want him to know, and I didn't read it to him, was I had written...
All right. And then there's more. This is one where a reporter's asking him about whether his age disqualifies him, and maybe there's something else.
For months when you were asked about your age, you would respond with the words, watch me. Many American people have been watching, and they have expressed concerns about your age.
That is your judgment. That is your judgment. That is not the judgment of the press.
They expressed concerns about your mental acuity. They say that you are too old. Mr. President, in December, you told me that you believe there are many other Democrats who could defeat Donald Trump. So why does it have to be you now? What is your answer to that question?
Because I'm the most qualified person in this country to be president of the United States and finish the job I started.
He repeatedly, throughout the press conference and during his statement, he actually pointed out 3 pages, page 12, page 200 and something, some other page, where I did not willfully mishandle those documents, though the first couple paragraphs in the executive summary says that he willfully mishandled the Afghanistan documents, and there was one other mention, his notebooks, that he, shouldn't have taken. Just because you make the notation in cursive.
That's right.
And Hannah doesn't know what cursive is. It's one of those things. That's okay. She's learned.
That is ageist, Randy. I know how to write in cursive.
Secret
So
code.
Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farms wrote her diary.
That wasn't very Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farms of you. And after he said over and over, he tried to say, I did not willfully mishandle them. I did not. And then after those statements about ageism, and then there was this. I have no problems. I'm the most qualified man to be the president of the United States. And then during questions, there was this.
The conduct of the response.
Notice the retardation of
in
speech.
in the Gaza Strip has been over the top. I think that...
Come on, Joe. Come on. You can do it.
As you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow...
He confused the president of Mexico with the president of Egypt. The president of Egypt is Fattah el-Sisi.
Well, wasn't it just this week he said that he was meeting with, was it a German?
At G7, yeah. No, he had met with Francois Mitterrand, who died in 1996.
Right. Yeah.
The former prime minister.
His best line from last night, I know what the hell I'm doing.
And then that.
Ish.
Roll the tape, Joe.
And, then we had other things going on yesterday. Of course, the arguments of the Supreme Court, when we had arguments from this. Hannah calls me Chicken Little, along with co-host Ashley Emmel this morning, because Stephanie's out. And John Marsh is there, and producer Hannah.
I just started calling you this yesterday.
Who I used to be very fond of.
It's all right.
Used to
now
be.
She calls me Chicken Little because I'm reactive when something. John, is there anything wrong when you? Okay, are we on the text line? When you guys text us at 573-874-9390, we're going to do a little audience poll on this. A little Miss Know-It-All.
Well, when you put it like that,
as the most veteran member on this specific show,
I feel like
I've seen some things, okay?
I feel like you both need a grievance form this morning.
So
no, I'm chill.
So we have this running. We can see all your texts, and they pop up here. And if they haven't been opened, it's green. But then there's a banner right across the top. You can't miss it. It's more red than my sweater, and it says an incident has been posted to the status page. Click here and I'm like, oh. Hannah, I better attend to this. What does this mean?
No, that is not how you approached me.
She said, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
You said, "Oh, an incident has been reported to the status page." What does that mean?
No,
what do I
she's
need
melodramatic.
to do?
It was not that bad.
Is she melodramatic?
She's a little bit melodramatic.
Come on.
There was concern in the voice of, Hannah, what does this mean? And she's like,
what
it's
do I
fine,
do?
ignore it.
Well, I wondered if maybe someone had said something that, like a block, inappropriate or whatever. And this was more of a technical thing. They were notifying us that there's a problem, which led to the discussion. John, look, and Ashley doesn't disagree with this, if something is awry, just in general, whether it's professionally, personally, relationship-wise, if something isn't going, if there's a variance from the expected, right?
Yes.
Do you tend to default to, it's nothing, whatever, don't worry about it. Or are you like, oh, that could be something serious. Better look into it.
Every time.
Yeah, I'm that way. Right.
Every time.
And so I use the example of if I hear some water running in the upstairs second level, I'm like, it's flooding. Something's wrong. The furnace drain line's dripping. Watch out. There's going to be water coming from the ceiling.
And see,
you said that goes back to your OB training.
Yeah. And I run up there, and usually the flapper valve just hasn't closed.
See, we've been talking about this most of the week, actually, because, right at the show open the last 2 days, his chair has had difficulties, and that's thrown him into a tizzy.
No, not a tizzy.
Did he tell you about my chair difficulty this morning?
Oh, my gosh. I walked in.
Didn't.
Gosh, the chair was all the way low, and I just flipped it up to make it taller because I'm short, and every leg fell off. Every single leg fell off of this chair, and then I would put one back on, and then as I would spin it, another leg would fall off.
We booby-trapped that one just for you, Ashley.
I felt set up.
Can I share with you something, though? That caused tension. When I walked in and I saw you struggling with putting a chair back. You weren't
struggling.
Now, see, automatically, we're going to get into this discussion again.
Is this going to be your damsel in distress thing again?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Jennifer sort of went silent the other day when we had a discussion about. She was down at the APAC thing in Jefferson City the other day, and she didn't get physically assaulted, but verbally assaulted.
Sure.
And it was. She said she felt a bit intimidated and threatened.
She did.
Threatened. And I know that Jennifer and Ashley and Hannah and every woman in my life is my daughter's perfectly capable of defending themselves, but
especially when you're packing like Jennifer is.
I saw that,
or not.
But in the modern world, I grew up in a very traditional. Men need to protect women. They need to give women security because women want security. Men need to be nurtured. They need to be, and of course, the worst stereotype is that, I'm coming home, I want my slipper and robes. But on the other hand, the worst stereotype of that is only I can kill the woolly mammoth that's coming to take out the camp, you know? And so, anymore. So I've had instances where I've opened up a door for a woman and she looks at me like, who are you?
You can always open a door for me.
So I was going to rush in and say, hey, can I do that?
Yeah.
Would you? But I didn't want to do that because I was afraid you'd go, no, thank you. I've got this. I'm like,
and you could have. I did struggle for a second. I'm not going to lie. When nobody was in here and every leg fell off, I put a leg on and it would fall
But I was
back
afraid
off.
that you might consider that condescending or somehow diminutive. But that wasn't. It was meant to be, I want to help.
Sure. I always appreciate help.
Because, we need to feel like we can be helpful.
That's right.
Because we are sort of, we get focused on one thing and we do it very well.
And you were very kind. You go, let me take that chair because it's broken. But then I didn't realize yours was also broken.
It wasn't as nice as you thought it might have been.
But I don't know. It's just a different time because you don't mean to be saying I don't think you can do that. Only I can. It's not that. It's like let me out. But I do that for men. I open the door for men.
Sure.
I mean, that's just my nature.
But don't you think just as a society we've lost a lot of that of being courteous, opening doors, saying please and thank you, not cutting in line.
Yeah.
Like we've lost it.
And if you open the door for me, I wouldn't go like, oh, no, I must open the door for you. Sure. Although occasionally I'll say, let me grab the door, you go in. I don't know. I just do that. I don't know. It's bad.
Sure.
That's why that reminds me of the Travis and Taylor thing that just so it warmed my heart when it was reported that they were pulling up to some restaurant in New York City, posh restaurant, and her security wanted to open the door for her, and he said, no, I've got this.
Yeah.
I thought, man, that's just cool.
But also if you watch the reports, just him like watching out for her and walking a little bit ahead of her and acting like security. Not all guys do that anymore.
No,
well, and he walks in such a way that the paparazzi don't really get photos of her. And like a human shield.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
His mom taught him well.
But no, to circle back, I don't call you Chicken Little because of one specific instance, okay? There have been many over the last several weeks. We were talking yesterday about how my brain immediately goes into how can I solve this problem instead of panicking, because when I panic, my brain shuts down. But you were telling me that when you panic, it actually helps you be a problem solver.
You call it panic, but what it is that is my emotional and cognitive. The emotion triggers the cognitive side of my brain, and all of a sudden, I mean, I am...
Adrenaline.
It displays outwardly as panic.
I am not fight or flight. I'm fight, flight, and I'm fight and fix. I go into fight and fix mode. Drives my wife crazy. Drives her crazy.
She's a saint.
If something needs to be done and we have a day planned, but then, I get a red...
Your toilet's leaking upstairs and the ceiling's falling in.
I get a dummy light on the car, Like even tires are low. It's like, sorry, everything's got to stop. I got to go to the station and fill up the tires.
Right now.
We got a text 874-9390 from listener Mike. He says... Yes, Randy totally overreacts.
Oh, listen to this.
But, I'm laughing as Randy says all this because I am the same person. Like, and if it's an emergency to me, it's an emergency to all right now.
Now, part of this, too, Hannah and ladies and gentlemen, look, I was used to a different type of a vibe on the afternoon show. Sure. It's a much different pace. Yeah. 3 segments. You're sort of doing long form. This is like, whoa, man, things are coming at you. My ADD is just going crazy. So there's a little bit of some, traffic cop in the middle of Times Square going on here. You got to give me a break. Things will get better.
Yeah.
Things will get
better.
Well,
I don't think things are bad. I'm not saying that. It's just I get a kick out of it.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do that. I'll handle it.
I just keep deferring back to both of you guys with doctor training. It's not like you can. Your mindset isn't to put things off.
No, you can't.
And it's to respond, right?
See, I am a natural born procrastinator. I put the pro in procrastinate. So maybe John's onto something there.
I want to play something for you here as we head out here. But listen to this. This is so good. Take a listen. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
Sounds great.
I love coming into work every single day with these guys, men and women, and it's just been an amazing journey up to this point. And when you go through some ups and downs with people, and you make it through the other side, it's a beautiful thing, man. And you just want it that much more for the person next to you, knowing how much work they put in, and it's just this year's has been its own journey and had its own challenges, but I think it's really molded us into one of the best football teams I've ever been on.
That's Travis Kelce during Media Day, and it's interesting. They did a poll, and it was one of these online sports polls, and he and Patrick Mahomes were named the most annoying people.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Why?
Did you see that?
No.
Because of their voices, or
like 49er fans, maybe.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I don't know, but I thought it was just an online poll, and I read that, and I thought, no, why? What's annoying about? I think people just don't like. At some point, envy comes in,
maybe.
Right?
Sure. Maybe.
They, because they're successful, it's like, well, I'm not successful, so I don't like you. Nah.
And Travis is great at the victory things. I mean, he's so full of himself and
he's fun.
Screaming Beastie Boy lines out about fight for your right to party.
Well,
he's great. I could see how people don't like him. The heck with you.
Coming up in What's Hot with Hannah later at 7:25, I've got a cool Travis Kelce story. It's kind of making the rounds. For anyone who thinks that Travis Kelce is annoying and full of himself, you'll want to stay tuned.
Oh, listen to that. That's what you call
promote.
Did you listen to the clip on Mahomes? He was being interviewed and a reporter said, "Give us your best Kermit the Frog voice," yes. And he goes, "I'm talking." This is it.
And I still can't get that funny thing from last week where they caught the picture of him with the dad bod. You know?
Oh, God.
Well, and I always
it's so funny.
Anytime we talk about Travis Kelce, I always like to remind folks that for an athlete of Travis's level and the success that he has had, and how many years he's been in the league, he's severely underpaid in comparison to other athletes in similar positions. And he has flat out said that he likes what's going on with the Chiefs enough and he loves his teammates enough that he'd rather just stay with the Chiefs, even if it means being technically underpaid.
Okay, that speaks to a conversation we had among several of the on-air people and a couple of the salespeople the other day. We were talking about NIL and college players getting paid and this. You think about that. You think about the transfer portal. You think about professional sports in general and how there's just not that team cohesiveness.
Yeah.
And that kind of story just warms my heart because
sure.
I mean, my gosh. And again, capitalism, hey, baby, make what you want. But at some point, if you're making, I think of Albert Pujols. And remember the fury that he caught of the Cardinals fans when he left? And what was it? He could have made $25 million, but he made $30 million. Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And that team spirit just seems to be going out of a lot of American sports. Yeah, I want to talk about that poll about the Chiefs and the most annoying person.
Can we take a show poll?
Could we do it like the most? Oh, yeah, let's do that.
No.
The most annoying person on the show?
How about the most reactive person on the show?
There you go.
You win, Randy.
I'd like to react to that. ask your thoughts about, do you think the game's going to be close? Who's going to win? But we were talking about this poll, a survey conducted by Sports Handle. I don't know Sports Handle. Anyone heard of Sports Handle?
I haven't.
Fans think that Travis Kelce is the most annoying player in the Super Bowl, tied with teammate Patrick Mahomes. Come February 11th, we're going to witness some of the greatest athletes and football players the NFL has to offer. They said, going to see some incredible superstars. We asked NFL fans, this is Sports Handle people, which of the players playing in the Super Bowl they considered to be the most annoying player, and it was them. Both of them received 23% of the votes, respectively. Wonder why that would be. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have a theory.
They're Niner fans.
Well, yeah, that too. I think a lot of people, a few of our Wake Up Mid-Missouri friends, in this group, are sick of hearing about Travis and Taylor. And I could see where if you're not, invested in that could be annoying.
Mm.
You know what I don't understand, though, is so many people are annoyed with that, but the amount of money it's brought to Missouri and the Chiefs and the NFL and bringing more height into football, it blows my mind that people get upset with that.
Yeah. But I think it's been good to bring a lot of people in that maybe otherwise wouldn't have. Mainly, women, young women who follow Taylor, and I think it's great.
Yes, the people who make the TK87 merch, if that hasn't helped.
Well, and Gary points out on the texter at 874-9390 that Tom Brady and Michael Jordan also had many people that disliked them pretty much just because they were really good.
Yeah,
that's point.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I for one am just happy that we're seeing the best players do the best game, and I've become almost a little agnostic about sports. I just want a good
Randall.
I want a good competition. I want a close game.
Yeah.
I want to see a well-played game. I don't want to see a game that's the difference is made by a referee call, you know. The reason I'm excited to see how they play on Sunday because it was a 180-degree turnaround from when was it? Oh, just 3 weeks before the end of the year, 3 or 4 weeks. They're dropping balls.
They're doing horrible.
They look like some high school team, you know. And to me, that resilience is something that, boy, if I had a kid coming up now, I would want to tell that story and emphasize that, man. Just because you're down, just because you've had a bad day, you get back up on that horse.
Yeah.
You don't overreact and let it freeze you.
Don't panic.
Oh, on that topic, real quick, we have listener Brian who wants to know if your iPad is charged this morning.
Oh, that was the good news. My iPad, I'm proud to announce, is 100% charged.
Oh, good.
But then I had tension yesterday because I left the charger here.
Oh no.
So I had to do a makeshift charger at home, but I got it charged to about 80%. And look at this, just in the time we've been on air, I'm back up to 100%. The chair is staying up.
You better knock
Life
on wood.
is good. Look at this. I brought back the pen that I borrowed earlier in the week from you. Remember the one I couldn't earlier figure out how to.
I was looking at mine. I have, the same white pen since they're both mine. And mine is very cracked this morning. And I'm not going to lie. I wondered if you did it. Because obviously I couldn't have broken it, right? It had to have been
This is like
else.
when she made a veiled insinuation when she texted me like, you didn't perhaps maybe by accident, in an absent-minded moment, maybe possibly take my burrito out of the refrigerator.
Listen, I had interrogated everyone else in the building, okay? You were the only one.
You did it. You need a camera in there, Hannah.
I know. I still never found that stupid burrito for anyone that's keeping up with the saga.
I'm sure it was Brian. It was 5 days old, and he thought it was good.
I got a text from firefighter Alice says, you want to talk about players to hate? How about Aaron Rodgers, Colin Kaepernick, and for Chiefs fans,
to a fabulous game, man. This should be a great game. Any way you cut it. It should be a great competitive game. And I don't care whether those people on Sports Handle think that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are the most annoying people. I think they're pretty darn good. I don't understand that.
They're only annoying because they win.
Yeah, that's right. There's producer Hannah. John Marsh. How much money you got in this game? $1,000, $2,000, $3,000?
No, that's illegal in Missouri.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right. I'm going to have to run over to Shawnee Mission to place that bet.
And there's I saw a big report on that about gambling and how the online sports betting world is. I mean, billions and tens of billions. It's a huge throughout the states. And how many states is it legal? How many is it not? I don't know, but not legal in Missouri. Wonder why not? Why don't they just legalize it? Why not?
That's the whole battle we've seen at the State House: the online gambling crowd versus the slot machines in the gas station crowd, and that's been a big thing they've bumped heads over.
There are 38 states plus Washington, D.C., where legalized sports betting is a thing.
Okay, so first they were marijuana, and then we were marijuana. Now they're all betting, then we'll be. Okay, so we have betting. I don't understand this. Oh, by the way, welcome in Ashley Emmel, who's doing the.
She's waiting on the
co-host
thing
today.
Coffee.
Co-hosting, they're waiting for the coffee. Juan Carlo from Colombia brought the beans in as we were talking. But you think about this from a sort of a logical perspective. We have legalized gambling in Missouri called casinos, right? Is that an accurate statement?
That's accurate.
Okay. People would like to do legalized gambling on video terminals in gas stations.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Both are games of chance, right? Why wouldn't you want to legalize it in gas stations? Why wouldn't you want to legalize sports betting? Why are we elevating one type of gambling over the others? Is this just a turf battle that,
It sounds like it.
Has been. I mean, the irony, I think, going into this weekend, you're playing the Super Bowl in in arguably the world capital of gambling,
Sin
which is
City.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Missouri Chiefs fans can't legally bet on the Super Bowl. And you know who else can't?
Who?
Californians.
Really? They don't have it legalized?
No, they don't.
I didn't know that. Huh.
But you could bet on it. Like if you were in Vegas, you could bet on the game there, just not in Missouri, right?
Yeah. Well, you can't do an online thing, I guess, in Missouri, right?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I just don't understand it. I mean, there was until they were regulated. The mafia was involved in casinos and in gambling, and there'll always be nefarious people in every business, right? There's nefarious doctors, there's nefarious lawyers, there's nefarious everyone in every business. Yeah. Nefarious retailers.
I just think that it might as well just be legalized and benefit from the tax benefit for the state and
buyer beware.
Marijuana. That's
Sorry,
right.
It's been 30 years since the U.S. Supreme Court did away with the Amateur Sports Protection Act thing.
Yeah,
back in the 90s, and that's when the 38 states or so went with legalized gaming.
Yeah, so I don't. It just doesn't make common sense to me. It certainly doesn't make libertarian sense to me. And I'm, you know that I lean that way. I think you tend to be a freedom first type of person.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Right? I don't know. We were talking about the cost of childcare off the air about someone who actually just sort of went away from their gig because they have a baby and they want to, we were speculating. I wonder if that had something to do with it because
taking a big cut in salary to work from home essentially.
Yeah.
Just so you don't have to pay for childcare.
But
childcare is so expensive.
I know women that are just about making what they're paying in childcare. After taxes and childcare, they're working for very little, right? But we had lunch with Scott Fawn last week, and it was interesting because I proposed it's like instead of the taxpayers subsidizing and creating another program where a redistribution of wealth, basically, where you're taking from one group of people and giving to another.
Tax credits, basically, lately is what they're talking.
Yeah. Why don't we first address regulations in that industry and over-regulations? Because I was involved in starting one of those at a hospital to try for recruitment and retention. It was wildly popular. There was a net loss every year on it, but it was a net positive for the operation, right?
Sure.
Because when you lose someone, turnover costs a lot more than anyone realizes, just in terms of a business cost. Okay. It's a morale cost for coworkers. It's a service cost for customers. Okay. So it is an act of Congress to get a daycare started. And I mean, my wife wanted to volunteer because there was a shortage. Someone got sick it was down for 6 weeks or whatever. Oh my gosh, you got to get fingerprinted. You got to prove that you're not a child molester. Hello.
Which I'm thankful as a parent. You want people that are good people that don't have a criminal background, maybe, that, have a clean bill.
I disagree.
No?
I disagree. No? I don't think it's the state.
Really?
If you're going to it's your responsibility to vet who you're turning your child over to. It's not my responsibility.
That makes sense.
That's not my responsibility. If you're going to, subordinate that responsibility, which I think is a responsibility of parenting. That's a weird perspective.
But what about
I know.
A center? What about a center like you're talking about that was in the hospital? Do you think that that's not the hospital's obligation to make sure safe people are caring for the employees' children?
That's my responsibility to answer to you, not to the state.
Yes, that's what I mean.
You need to answer me.
Yes.
If I choose to say, hey, my people are fingerprinted, it's going to cost you an extra $50 a week because I have extra regulatory burden and I can prove, okay, you may choose to do that.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, you may say, well, I know Randy, I know his wife, and I don't need to know.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? So I just don't, I think the state gets involved in too much regulation. It raises prices, right? Think about it. You could offer the services at Compass Chiropractic and Wellness cheaper if you didn't have all the overregulation.
Absolutely.
A lot of the cost that's built into your fees, right, comes from that.
Absolutely.
Me too.
Yes. It's expensive.
What about all the regulation of LPNs, RNs, physician's assistants, et cetera? That's all, you have to have the ticket to practice.
It's absolutely insane. And, the Cato Institute has made some pretty interesting comments on this about licensure and what a crazy thing. All licensure does essentially is protects you from the very worst behavior. It doesn't really, just because someone has a license doesn't mean they're excellent.
Sure.
It means they don't kill people regularly.
Hopefully not.
Is that where the bar is?
No, I mean, I'm hyperbolic, but I mean, it means that
you're overreactive.
It means that they don't get constant complaints and they're not giving out drugs illegally. You know what I mean? The bar is very low for getting a license.
Wasn't there a daycare provider locally who got in trouble for giving the kids melatonin?
Oh, really?
That was.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I don't know. I'm just a buyer beware guy. Yeah. I'm sorry. And we have courts. That's what the courts are for. If you have a problem with someone, you address that.
Yeah.
And since that's public record, if we have engaged consumers, I better check it. I'm going to take a look and, try to vet this. I think the state has very little business being in about 90% of what the state's into. If the state would get the heck out of our lives, life would be so much better. I'm channeling Gary Nolan here, but I really agree with him there.
But going back to the child care cost, I think that if you have one child, of course it's expensive for good care for your child. But when you have 2 and 3 and 4 children, that's when you might as well, one of you might as well stay home because you are definitely going to outweigh. The only difference is you have to think about your retirement and maybe contribution to Social Security and Medicare for later. If you're staying home, you're not having those contributions.
Well, and then there's the whole other argument of, the sociology and the child development is pretty clear that especially in the first 2 or 3 years of life, if you are at all able to do it, this is not Randy speaking, this is the science speaking. And Hannah, I am science.
All right, Bill Nye.
That's Mr. I'm Dr. Fauci. I am the science. No, the science, the women, prominently among them, my favorite counselor, family psychotherapist, Erica Komisar, writes in the Wall Street Journal, wrote a book called Being There about the first 3 years of motherhood are so important. And she, ideally, a mom should be there with the kid for 3 years. Now, maybe you can, maybe you can't. But if not that, dad or grandma or someone, you want to have someone in that nuclear or as close to nuclear family. Those kids just developmentally, on average, will stand less risk of having less optimistic outcomes. But that's a whole other discussion. Okay, so I want to talk about this guy named Steve, old guy _ Steve. You might know that I like that Twitter, right? Right?
Yeah, I never would have guessed.
I never knew about this
guy Randy Tobler.
I'm not an old guy. I'm a very young. My wife told me, she says, you look younger than your stated age.
You know what did crack me up,
That's when I
though,
sent
this
her a
morning?
picture with one of those filters that you can put on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You know what made me laugh this morning?
What?
You got upset that Ashley and I didn't get your reference
to Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm.
Yeah, so you immediately went to the oldest guy in the building, other than you, to ask him. And when that guy still didn't know, you got real upset.
But I don't know about you, but Randy
What's that
pulled
say
it
about
up.
me when I did know?
Randy pulled it up and he's like, no, like this book. And I'm like, I still don't know. Still don't know.
So I don't know. I just love the fun thing about Twitter is it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to find, right? I was like, I've got to find some good sound about Joe Biden's press conference. I've got to find about the Supreme Court arguments, which we'll talk about at 7:35. And I thought, man, and then I went down the rabbit hole.
You did.
And so I saw this guy. He says, so I'm at Walmart scanning and bagging my almost $300 worth of groceries while the employee that wants $15 an hour monitors, in air quotes, and then this happened. Her. Why are you double bagging all of your groceries? Me. Excuse me? Her. You are wasting our bags. Me. If you don't like the way I'm bagging the groceries, feel free to come over here and bag them yourself. Her. That's not my job. Me. Okay, then I'll bag my groceries how I please if that's all right with you. Her. Why are you using 2 bags? Because the bags are weak and I don't want the handles to break or the bottom gets ripped out. Now, this is where it gets good. Her. Well, that's because you're putting too much stuff in the bag. If you took half of that stuff out and put it in a different bag, then you wouldn't need to double bag.
Yep.
10 seconds of me just staring at her. Me. So you want me to split these items in half, put half of them in a different bag so I don't have to double bag. Exactly. So I'd still be using 2 bags to hold the same number of items. Her. No, because you wouldn't be double bagging. Me, pressing 2 fingers to my left eye in an attempt to make it stop twitching. Me, okay, so I have a jug of milk and a bottle of juice double bagged. If I take the milk out, remove the double bag, just put the milk in the single bag, the juice in the other bag, I'm still using 2 bags. Yes. Her, no, because you are not double bagging them, so it's not the same number of bags.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow. And, yeah.
Everything is self-checkout, though, now. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
You cannot go anywhere without only one checker being present with 5 million people waiting.
And I love it.
That employee probably went to a CRT and DEI school where they didn't teach math.
I saw that this story was debunked, though.
Oh.
But you know what?
But it's a funny one.
It is.
Yeah,
I don't mind self-checkout until it says, like, extra item in bag. And I'm like, I didn't put an extra item in the bag. Or
I know.
miscode. I'm like, no, I didn't. I scanned it.
I love it when Mr. Old Guy Randy is trying to check out and I've got a bottle of booze there and they have to come out and I'm saying, you sure you don't want to look at my, you don't want to look at my ID?
No. Oh, you're one of those guys make the grocery store worker feel bad.
But you know what's more annoying, Randy, is when you're just getting ginger beer, which is alcohol free, and the kid can't scan it for you because it's in the 20
I don't know if you're aware of this or not. John might be able to help us out here. There's like a big game going on this weekend.
I heard about something.
Basketball Tigers and Mississippi State.
Tigers are playing Mississippi State, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And they're really having a great season, those Tigers. Wow. Ooh.
Well, and we were talking about the allegedly most annoying players in the league. And I guess Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes came in at number 1 and number 2 in that survey.
Yeah.
And Travis kind of had some haters after the Ravens game where he picked up one of the kickers for the Ravens, football helmet and his ball and kind of threw them out of Patrick Mahomes' way during warm-ups. A lot of folks only saw one side of that story and were calling Travis a jerk and saying things like fame was getting to his head, yada, yada, yada. And one of the wives of one of the coaches actually took to TikTok, of course. Of course, that's where I saw this. To tell a story about Travis Kelce from several years ago. Do you remember the self-tying Marty McFly style Nike shoes that they came out with a couple years ago?
No.
Oh.
Definitely not.
Okay, well,
I was reading Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm's 1903 novel then.
This entire What's Hot with Hannah thing might be derailed, but in the movie Back to the Future,
yes,
they have the self-tying Nikes. They're white high-top sneakers, and he slips his foot in, and the laces cinch down.
Now you're bringing back, yes, I understand it, yes.
Okay, so Nike actually released a shoe inspired by that a couple years ago, and Nike and Travis Kelce work together a lot, and so he gets sent items from Nike, and they had sent him... Sorry, I got distracted. They had sent him a pair of these self-tying sneakers.
Oh, okay.
And some of the teammates were joking, and one of the coaches is a big sneakerhead, and he happens to only have one arm. And the teammates were joking about how, the coach of all the people in the world, he would really benefit from these shoes. Sure. And the coach was a sneakerhead. So very quietly, Travis Kelce went to his Nike rep and ordered the coach a pair of these self-tying Nike sneakers that I'm sure were massively expensive.
Buku bucks, yeah.
The Marty McFlies.
Yeah.
There you go.
And just very quietly put them in the coach's locker in the locker room and never made a big deal about it.
And he is underpaid. How could he afford that?
Well, underpaid in comparison to other athletes at his level. But when we look at, our salaries, we probably would not think that he was underpaid.
Well, now they have the new slip-in
No, de facto, that doesn't work, Mr. Murray, because de facto officer is to ratify the conduct that's done afterwards and insulate it from judicial review. Put that aside. I'm not going to say it again. Put it aside, okay? I think Justice Alito's asking a very different question, a more pointed one, and more difficult one for you, I understand, but I think it deserves an answer. On your theory, would anything compel a lower official to obey an order from, in your view, the former president?
I'm imagining a situation where, for example, a former president was, a president was elected and they were 25 and they were ineligible to hold office, but nevertheless they were put into that office.
We're talking about Section 3. Please don't change the hypothetical, okay? Please don't change the hypothetical.
That was Justice Neil Gorsuch, hammering Jason Murray, who was arguing in behalf of the state of Colorado, his first oral argument yesterday in front of the Supreme Court about whether or not Donald Trump should be thrown off the ballot. I'm Randy Tobler. There's Ashley Emmel in for Stephanie.
Good morning.
And John Marsh.
Yes, sir.
Who was taking it all in yesterday. And Hannah, who transcribed this as my homework assignment to her. So she's going to spend the next 10 or 15 minutes talking about the Supreme Court oral arguments. Right, Hannah?
Yeah.
Good. So what do you think about that, Hannah? Jason Murray, it's an interesting dynamic here because clearly Neil Gorsuch was almost condescending. He was hammering him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the maybe I only heard selective portions that highlighted this, but everyone, including Kagan, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the only one who was sort of pro off the ballot was Sotomayor. But the rest of them were just hammering this guy. Mm-hmm. And this guy was a clerk for both Kagan and Gorsuch. Now, Hannah, what an interesting position. Think about it. If, as you were learning the business and you were, being mentored by, other producers and folks and you were learning, and then maybe in some kind of a production meeting or something, there was that kind of behavior. Wouldn't that be just wouldn't that just knock you down 10 notches?
Yeah.
Wow. And the guy tried to come back, and every time he came back, he's like, I'm only going to say it once. It reminded me of fifth grade.
It was really like teacher-student thing.
I don't know that I've heard arguments that one-sided. They just kept asking him, so if one state can do this with one presidential candidate, who's to say someone on the other side? And they were clearly referencing, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft's talked about, and he was at the oral arguments. Mm-hmm. He's talked about, hey, we're going to follow the rules. And if the rules are that a state can do this, I will follow the rules. He was telegraphing, I think, some stuff that could come down.
Sure.
From Jefferson.
Absolutely.
John, do you think that Jay Ashcroft would pull the trigger on getting Biden off the ballot?
That was the whole debate that sort of came through the whole discussion with the high justices and all. The what if they sign off on this, what happens to elections in the vast majority of states in the future?
Yeah, that's very true.
And I think it was either Brown Jackson or Kagan who at one point said, so let's just say, and it's almost coming down to this in our elections with the Electoral College. What is there? 4 or 5 states are going to make the difference. The rest of us don't matter.
Isn't that so weird, though?
Yeah. But I don't want a popular vote thing either, because then it's the most populous centers are going to rule. So
that's right.
I think it is what it is. But she said, so hypothetically, what if there was one state, and that state that was the pivotal state, or going to be the pivotal state, everyone knew it, the only one that was really in contest, and they decided to throw one of the candidates off the ballot? You're going to have one state, Mr. Murray, determine the whole election for the country? And he tried to fumble his way through an answer, but it was like, bam, that was it.
It's a great point, though.
Yeah.
Because it could come down to that.
Yeah. 573-874-9390. An interesting, we have a question for, not my words, but listener Brett's words. Can you all get Miss Ashley to sing the Compass Cairo song, please? LOL.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? I don't think you want me to.
You don't do that song.
I don't. I wish I did. Wouldn't that be great?
Did you compose the song?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I want you to know that I consistently have that jingle stuck in my head.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for coming up with a catchy jingle.
Yes.
I find myself all the time at home. So come.
How's the new office working out? You expanded, right?
We did. Our new office is amazing.
It's great.
If you guys haven't come and seen it, stop by. We'd love to.
I do. I need to stop by and
have
see
you
it.
over. Make you a cup of coffee?
Yeah. Can you get some of these old guy aches and pains out?
Sure can. Sure can.
You know, since I've started swimming again, I really have got less of those aches and pains. I love swimming because I was running. I was getting back into running, but I don't know. It's just.
Where do you swim at?
At the Ark.
Okay.
Yeah. But I love swimming.
Didn't you used to dive off the side of the Admiral in the Mississippi?
Yeah. In between sets when I was playing with the Bob Cuban Band. We played there Wednesday through Sundays, top 40 stuff. That's why I make Hannah play the Blood, Sweat, and Tears and, and the Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff. You don't do Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Earth, Wind, and Fire. And
I just click the button and whatever plays.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
But the swimming is, if you're getting more aches and pains as you get old, and a lot of people tell me that it just hurts them anymore if they used to run or they used to be more high impact stuff. Swimming is, for some reason, a forgotten exercise.
Forgotten.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Why do you think that? Do you think that because people don't want to get in their swimsuit and get in the pool and do the exercise, or do you think that people just forget that it's an option?
Well, it's not as accessible, I feel like.
There you go.
It takes a little longer to, you have to go there, but there's something very, it's just a really good tired you get after swimming. It's a different kind of a tired. Your body isn't beat up. And it's just a really like a good vibe after swimming. It's great.
Well, and I also love swimming, but it's kind of hard to find a place that you can go swim laps. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they've asked me not to swim too often, Hannah, there, because when people start looking at the Adonis-like RFK Jr. body that shows up when I walk onto the swimming deck, it distracts people, and it takes
distracts the workers, the lifeguards,
Randall,
I don't want to embarrass other people.
I am going to call them right now and fact check that statement.
There's a new sign up.
No, I actually, as I walk onto the swimming lap area, I always show great am I in the pool gratitude
before you cannonball in
to the lifeguard there. I'm like, hey, thank you. Keep an eye on me, would you?
Yeah. If I don't come up in 10 seconds, please come after me.
In case it's not my chair going down. If I disappear, I'm not on a chair. I'm swimming. In case you're just joining us, we've had a little problem with the hydraulic chair. It keeps we need chair Viagra or something in here. I don't know what's going on.
We're going to put it in.
You need to work on your kick turn, doctor.
That's one thing I've never learned to do.
A purchase order?
I'm so envious. No. No. We have two conversations going on here.
We do.
No, the kick turn. Every time I try to do that, I take in water through the nose. I cannot do it. I've tried, at the end of the lap and being really.
I can't do it either.
A guy next to me the other day was doing it, and I felt, man, I was so envious. I'm like, how do you do that, dude? He said, I don't know. I just started. I cannot do it.
I have a water phobia, so if we're ever at the pool together, and if you're drowning, I can't help you.
I'm out of there. You're out of there.
Sorry.
You're like,
I'm very sorry.
See you, Rand. Bye.
Basically.
Yeah, okay. Need a host next day?
Nice knowing you.
I can fill in for you.
I don't know. Yeah. Sandy's laughing. She says, ha, ha, ha. I think that's at my comment about the Adonis-like body. I'm working on it, Sandy.
Now, what I want to know, and actually, I say this, I don't know if I really want to know. You give Hauswirth a lot of grief for wearing Speedos, which we've never been able to fact check. I highly doubt he wears Speedos.
No, you know what?
But is that what you wear to the pool?
I have to tell you.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I have to tell you.
I was looking for a simple no.
Yes.
I was looking for a simple no. I don't wear Speedos.
I don't wear a Speedo, but I actually wear the most baggy, like sail on a sailboat things for one reason.
Drag?
You might call me a drag king. I'm a drag swingman king.
Creates more resistance.
Because it gives you more. And I understand that on swimming teams, they train like that. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it isn't. But no, I do that. But then what's really fun then is because then when I go down, once every couple of years, we might go diving and, down in Cozumel or somewhere. And then when I get in the pool, I will wear a little tighter, wear. And, man, I tell my wife I'm swimming like a porpoise. I feel like this is amazing, So if you train with that stuff and then you do the other, it's great. It's great.
You're swimming like a porpoise.
No, I mean, it really, when you're streamlined like that, you feel great. But man, when you're wearing those fluffy, down to your knees kind of things. Oh.
Do you go swimming on your own or do you do like the aerobics class in the water? No, I'm being serious.
He's a lap swimmer, aren't you?
Are you laughing?
I prefer the Esther Williams water dance class where you put your hand up and you turn over.
I'm picturing Randy with like a flowered shower cap on with his floaties on next to a bunch of older women doing an aerobics class.
That's why he's in the class.
Yeah,
it's for the ladies.
Yeah, it's the nines out there.
Yikes.
Okay. Hey, so John, what you have coming up at 7:48 here?
Save us, John.
Save us.
Super Bowl Sunday. First Lady Jill Biden says Joe Biden pretty much a basic eater. Put a plate of spaghetti and meatballs in front of him. He's like a kid in a candy shop. A little strange on his favorite drink, orange Gatorade. He also drinks Coke Zero, regular Coke, and black coffee. But as we all know, he has indulged in many scoops of ice cream, his favorite being from Portland's Salt and Straw, chocolate woodblock and double-fold vanilla. White House Oval Office kept stocked with Haagen-Dazs vanilla chocolate chip and salted peanut butter with chocolate flecks. Let's see, Capriati's...
The expensive stuff.
Yeah, Capriati's subs from back in Delaware. His favorite is the Bobby Thanksgiving on a roll. Long roll slathered mayonnaise, shredded turkey, cranberry sauce, and bread stuffing. And he was known in law school to buy up cheesesteaks, take them back, and sell them to his Syracuse classmates for 3 times the cost. And the president also is a teetotaler.
Oh.
So no alcohol. Now you know the rest of that story.
And Trump is the same way when it comes
they
to
both
alcohol.
Are. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, that goes to show you that...
maybe have a drink and lighten up, guys.
Yeah, well, it also goes to show you that, apparently being a teetotaler, assume he has been his whole life, doesn't prevent you from having cognitive decline, right? Mm-hmm. But you certainly can increase your risk of that, if you overdo it.
Speaking of alcohol intake, have I told you the interesting question I got asked at my doctor's appointment this week?
Tell me.
So, they're doing vitals, asking you all the questions they always ask you.
Here we go. Yeah, intruding into your life.
And they asked me, if I consumed alcohol. I said every once in a while, but not very often. And sometimes they'll ask you, about how many drinks would you average a week or something like that. But she asked me, how many drinks have you had in the last 3 months? Like, I don't know. That's a long time to have to try to think back. So I pretty much just came up with a random number.
Yeah. There's different ways of measuring, excess alcohol use, and
But I just thought that 3 months is a very long time to have
That's a
to.
long time.
Yeah.
I bet it was a CPT code to get an additional fee.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now they have to ask, especially for Medicare patients, they have to ask something called a PQ2, right? Mm-hmm. And that's basically a little depression screening. And then there's the GAD-7 and anxiety screening. And if they click the right box, for you Medicare recipients out there, if they have to do that. That's why they're doing that, so that they can get a little reimbursement. Mm-hmm. So just put up with them. Yep. So in some cases, it's good because you find out. But in a lot of cases, it's like, wait a minute, I was here last week for my UTI, and now I'm here for my sinus infection. Why do you keep asking me this? You think I've really become depressed in a week?
You might have. You
might have, but it becomes annoying to people, and it's very robotic.
Yeah. But I think what a lot of people don't realize with Medicare, like our reimbursement fee was lower this year. We make less this year than we did last year.
Yeah, it still doesn't pay for the price of the cost of doing business. Yeah, so I see more and more people jumping off of Medicare. They're not participating, and I think you're going to see more and more of that. Mm-hmm. And folks are just going to deal with their provider of care and do a cash basis thing, because it just doesn't really cover you. But you can still use your Medicare in those relationships if you need a big, if you got to go to the emergency room or you need a procedure or something like that. It's possible. Talking about Super Bowl food, what's your favorite? Let's start with Hannah. What do you and Brandon like? Really, what's in your already sugar plum fairies dancing in your head, but now translate from Christmas to Super Bowl? What are you thinking about?
Like food-wise?
Yes.
I would say the Embry family is big on the buffalo chicken dip. That's a staple.
That's a good one.
And you eat it with the Fritos scoops. That's important.
Wow.
And Rotel dip. I'd say those are the two big ones.
Oh, the Rotel dip is a big one. Yeah. That's with the Velveeta and the Rotel, right? In there.
Yeah, and some ground beef or sausage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I might get some pickled asparagus if I'm lucky. I don't know.
Oh, whatever.
No, I'm kidding you. I think I don't know what she has planned. John, how about you?
I'm kind of traditional. The chili, the hot wings, that kind of stuff. Little smokies, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Now, wait, chili. There's going to be a chili cook-off tomorrow. Are you going to do chili on top of chili?
Chili on top of chili. You have to. I think it's the law, isn't it?
Have you guys seen the little arrowhead-shaped burger patties that Steele's has in Jefferson
Those are cool.
City?
He's got them on sale. I just noticed that on his website. Steele's Custom Meats.
Really? I have not seen that. Oh, that's
the burger patties are in the
great.
shape of like a little Kansas City
great.
arrowhead.
So how about the Emmels? What are you guys going to do? Do you?
We love wings and all of the dips, and I don't know what else.
Well, there's wings
pizza.
and there's wings. Are you buying the frozen ones from Tyson in the freezer case? Or
we'll smoke them like fresh wings.
Smoke them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to fry them to get the ultimate buffalo wing, though, don't you?
I know.
You just can't bring yourself to do that, can you?
I can't.
Not healthy.
Well,
healthy, Dr.
If I
Ashley
was
can't
going somewhere to eat it, I'd be all about it. But I don't like the mess in my house.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's good if you smoke them and then put them in the air fryer and get them a little bit crispy.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's like
that's
a
a
middle
good
ground.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
My husband really likes to deep fry stuff, and it makes the house stink for a couple days.
It does.
I look forward to warmer weather when he can do it outside.
Oh. One of my former favorite listeners, Bruce, says, going back to the swimming, at his age,
time Ashley was in studio with us, I don't know if she was fully awake yet. And we were talking about Red Fridays and the fact that Randy on that particular Friday had not worn red.
No, I know.
He had it in his tie.
And Ashley goes, "It's for Remember Everyone Deported."
Oh, gosh. It was so early. We were not even on air yet. And I was like, oh, my gosh. I did not mean deported. I meant deployed.
Been listening to Donald Trump too much.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
I don't even think you caught that you said it until I looked at you and was like, "What'd you say?"
I was like, I'm really tired. It's been a really long week. It's 5:30 in the morning.
That has stuck with me. I think that is so funny. So Remember Everyone Deployed.
Yeah, and sadly, it's been brought home to us recently with the death of those three in the drone attack, 3 service members, and 40, I think. The number kept rising, but I think it stopped at 40, severely injured in that attack. You know, on Wednesday, they killed there was a targeted drone attack at an Iraqi official, and wondering whether there was going to be counterattacks. We still really haven't seen just a full-throated, all-out attack to really just put an end to all of the Iranian proxy attacks around the region. It's been a little quiet on the reporting front there, but I don't know if they have anything planned more. We keep waiting for the final shoe to drop in our response. We were talking a little bit about the Super Bowl and your favorite eats. How about the drinks? There's been a move towards, especially I think younger people are getting into mocktails rather than cocktails.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Hannah, you're a younger person. What are you drinking? You bringing mocktails these days?
I've never officially called it a mocktail, I guess. But if we're going to a social gathering and I know that I don't want to drink, I might bring a Sonic drink or, my little flavored water packets, something that's not just regular water. That way I still feel like I'm getting to drink something that's semi-interesting without partaking in alcohol. I've done that before.
Huh. I was looking at online non-alcoholic margarita, lime juice, orange juice, agave syrup, kosher salt, ice cubes. So it's basically it's all just it's the mixers without the booze.
It's the whole thing is just being able to still have a fun little fruity drink if you want one without putting alcohol in it.
Now, Ashley, aren't you afraid that might be a lot of sugar substitution?
It is a lot of sugar. But you can get the skinny ones with the light sugar.
Oh, yeah.
I know Randy loves it when I have my flavored drink packets in the studio because, they're all artificially sweetened. Yeah. But it helps me get my water in.
But it's not good for your microbiome. You don't believe me. You don't trust the old boy. I know. Okay,
no.
Dr. Ashley?
It doesn't count if it's not straight water. If you
believe
mix it doesn't count.
I believe Randy. It's just I don't want to.
Water is so important. Straight water.
I know.
Straight water, no flavor in it. Straight water.
I bet you don't have any patience. They say to you, yes, I know, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't like that. I don't want to do that. Right?
Every day.
Hannah's the only patient in the world that would ever say that, right? It's a conundrum. It's hard.
It is hard.
But I think a lot of times we in the medical profession, we overwhelm people with okay, you're here at point A. Mm-hmm. You probably need to be at point D. Mm-hmm. Can you be there tomorrow?
I don't do that.
No, but I think
baby steps.
But a lot of times you only have a little time with patients,
You do.
And that's why I don't do that anymore in the insurance business. I know that you take time to spend time with people, but a lot of people are providing medical care in the grind where it's like you got a 7-minute appointment, bang, bang, bang.
Yep.
And so it's all this quick, hey, do this, not that, do this, not that. I'll see you in 3 months. And instead of what can you do in the next month? Just a little change.
Give them one thing.
Yeah.
One exercise or the 25% rule. Give rid of 25% of the crap right now. And then we'll move to the next step.
Yeah.
I know my doctor's trying to get me to sleep more. Go figure.
Weird.
And I'm like, I just have such a hard time, falling asleep at a decent time.
Because you drink those energy drinks.
Not okay. Only in the morning and occasionally around lunchtime.
Throwing off your adrenals.
I know how to
your thyroid.
John, I know how to get Hannah more sleep. Why don't we on Monday and maybe every day, starting off at the top of the show, why don't we do some European history going back to the medieval days? Just cover a little history. And
we could get Senator Eigel to come in and read some stuff.
Hannah will go to sleep then.
Knowing my luck, I'd fall asleep on the button that turns your microphone on and we'd be off air.
We have to treat you like our children, We start dimming the lights till about 30 minutes before and soft music and get rid of your phone and your blue light and your electronics. And
yeah, my doctor's like, okay, well, how about just by 9 o'clock you try to be in bed? I'm like, okay. And I maybe successfully do that twice a week. It's not good.
Maybe you could listen to classical music. Like one day you're 23 acting cool and then you're 40 listening to instrumental music for fun.
I could bring in some my mix of Dionne Warwick tunes for you.
Kenny G.
What about melatonin? Does that work like people think it does, or is it a placebo?
No, not unless
only
you have
if you're in daycare.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Goodness.
Oh, John. Ooh. Little dark humor from John Marsh this morning. Okay. What are you doing in late September, Dr. Ashley?
Oh, I don't know.
Would you like to go to Switzerland?
Yes.
Helene and I are going?
Yes. I've been watching this.
I think it's going to be fun. Yeah.
What are the dates on that?
See, I've been there, but I wasn't there long enough. We spent like a day and a half or two there, right? Maybe 2 days, I guess. But we had such a charming time. I just have to go back. And so we're going to do that.
Live?
Colette Travel's going to take a bunch of folks from the Eagle and from Clear 99. Scotty Cox is going to go. And it's going to be a great time. We'd like you to come and learn about what's going to happen. It's a 10-day tour starting in Bern, Switzerland, and then traveling. That's a hub. And then going to a little bit in Austria and a little bit in Bavaria, southern Germany. Going to go to a castle. And it'll be a lot of fun. So Switzerland, Austria, and Bavaria with me and Scotty and the whole gang. And, we'll probably be talking a lot about Swiss mocktails. No, Swiss cocktails. Do you know absinthe is big in Switzerland?
What is?
Absinthe. It's a
makes the heart grow fonder.
It's an aperitif.
Like absinthe?
John. John's had this lisp for a while.
Yeah.
No, but it's an aperitif, or you can add it to certain drinks.
It's an aperitif?
Yeah, you don't know what that is, do you?
No.
Yeah, well,
like a cordial.
A cordial, yes.
It's a
green drink.
What is that?
It's a green drink, first prepared in 1792 by the French physician Pierre Ordinaire. He knew Mitterrand, who knew Biden, and a favorite of Western European bohemians.
They used to call it the Green Fairy.
Yeah,
right?
And it's a high alcohol beverage. It gets its aroma and taste from wormwood. You know wormwood.
Wormwood, yeah.
Wormwood in the right amount can be helpful, right?
Very helpful.
As an herbal.
Very helpful.
So it's called the Green Fairy. Was banned in many countries because it was accused of having hallucinogenic properties and brain damage. Hey, we're going to have fun when we get back from Switzerland.
Can't be any worse, right?
Oh, man. She's just, I'm telling you.
Well, no, I didn't.
Schnapps. Everyone knows what schnapps are, right?
Like peach?
And Kier, which is another. These are all very aromatic drinks.
I'm not cultured enough to know what any of this stuff is.
Well, but I'm telling you, the ultimate, though, when you visit Switzerland, I mean, the cheese there is just to die for. It is. We visited a cheese factory, and where they make Swiss cheese. That is my favorite, just hands down favorite cheese. How about you?
No, I hate Swiss cheese. Nope.
Hannah?
Not a fan. Sorry, Doc.
Yeah.
John?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See?
I feel like half the time John just agrees because he knows Randy's going to get upset if no one
I'm not
agrees.
going to get upset. I'm just looking for a little support. Just a little support.
I like Swiss cheese.
Yeah, Swiss is great.
I'm more of like a cheddar.
Dip it in your absinthe.
Yeah. You know what I love about Swiss cheese?
It's holy.
When you eat it, it's a very spiritual. I always feel very spiritual and very. My faith grows because.
Why would that be, Doctor?
Because it's holy.
Ashley beat you to the punch. She beat you.
Yeah, that was a. Thank you, John. That was a hanging curveball. That was
all
just
about the timing.
Hanging curveball. You knew that was coming, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, she beat you to it. She took your punchline.
I did. Sorry.
It wasn't very nice of you, but that's okay. We'll have you back. Hey, I've enjoyed having you co-hosting.
That'd
be good. Yeah, we'll do that again.
Hey, you want to tell us when that informational meeting is?
Yeah, let's do that. So there's an informational meeting February. See, I get sidetracked because I got talking about absinthe. So look, if you want to learn more about this, February 27th, 5:30 here on Lamone Industrial. Right, it's basically 63 and Grindstone.
Mocktails?
You know, I don't know if there'll be mocktails. I'm going to see if I can get Helene to maybe bring a little fondue.
Yeah,
we love Swiss cheese. Well, you don't like Swiss cheese, so you're not going to eat it.
I don't like Swiss cheese.
You don't like the Swiss cheese fondue?
No.
Do you like oil fondue where you put chicken and?
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a place in St. Louis called the Melting Pot.
Oh, the Melting Pot's so good.
I think there's a chain, right?
It is a chain. It's in
good.
Kansas City, too.
So you like that kind of fondue?
I do. I just don't like cold Swiss cheese.
Well, you don't eat Swiss cheese cold. You let it sit out. You let it get
I don't like warm Swiss
little
cheese
beads of oil. Oh, man. Oh, I just don't get it. What is it about you don't appreciate the finer things in life, which is Swiss cheese at room temperature?
I don't like any cheese at room temperature.
That's the way it's supposed to be eaten.
I like it cold.
That's an American thing there.
It's either cold or it's hot. It's not warm.
I don't know. February 27th at 5:30. RSVP on either KWS.com, 939theeagle.com, and come out and say hi. And that way you'll have your seat reserved and you can learn about it. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to extend the trip, you can do that for 3 days. Hannah, I'm thinking seriously of asking you for that PTO time. See if I can do that. Yeah? To go, yeah?
Denied.
No?
I don't know.
We'll have to ask. Okay.
You've been kind of mean lately.
No, I've been trying to be a compliant host. I figured out in the depths of a box at the farm, absence, we'll talk about the futures, which again are up. S&P 500 looks like it's going to top 5,000 again. If that happens, it would be the fifth week in a row on encouraging inflation news. You know, they've revised down today the inflation number from December. It was a 0.3% monthly rise, month over month, and they've revised that down to 0.2%, largely on the back of lower energy and food prices. But the core didn't change at all. The core didn't change at all. Treasury yields traded lower. January CPI figures are going to be due next week. We'll see how the cost of living is next week. You know what's driving all this, though? Hannah's going to love this. Stephanie's going to just, oh my gosh, she's so excited when NVIDIA, Alphabet, that's Google, Microsoft, they're the ones pushing the markets higher. It's the tech that's pushing the markets higher. It really is.
Awesome.
Yeah. So then there's been reasonable earnings across the board. The question is, do you ever get, if you're investing, maybe you're, putting a little bit in each month out of your paycheck into some kind of a retirement plan. Do you ever wonder, like, man, I'm putting it in at this, the market's really high. It's not going to just go higher and higher forever. I guess that's where that dollar cost averaging, that old theory comes in. I don't know. That's not investment advice. It's a question. Is that still in vogue? Dollar cost averaging, John? Is that still what the experts are talking about? I haven't.
I guess, talk to your marketing, you're a financial investor person. God, look at the month we've had for the S&P.
It's crazy. So, the psychologic part of this is like, wow, things are so good. I want to get in on it. On the other hand, if you're sort of a glass half empty, you're like, oh man, if I buy now, oh, it happens when it falls. But I guess over the years, every stock, every wealth management person, every on-air person, CNBC people, it seems like almost all of them say, if you try to time the market, boy, that's risky business, So I don't know. But it's good to see that things are looking up in the markets. It's interesting, Biden talks about the market, and he used to criticize Trump about the market. Oh, it's not just about the market, it's about the economy. And yet Biden's people, some of them are out there doing that as well. So inflation December was lower. Do you know what the number one resume mistake is for those of you who are looking at the job market, maybe looking at a change? Do you know what that is?
The number one resume mistake.
Yeah.
Is it
not putting your name on it?
Yeah. You don't want to write. You don't want to basically write a glorified what you're going to do and how you're going to make things for this company go. You don't want to.
The cover letter.
Right, the cover letter. That's the thing.
So you shouldn't do a cover letter?
You don't want to give Miss America answers.
Oh.
Don't give Miss America answers, the ones you'd imagine hearing in a pageant. In other words, don't try to second guess what they're thinking and what they want to hear. I'm reading that as be authentic, right? Just be authentic. So anyway, the market, the job market's interesting though. Unemployment's down, but yet when you dive into the jobs numbers, and I did that again this week, and I looked at them, a lot of the jobs that have been created are part-time jobs.
That people are having to pick up as a second
job. There you
Yeah.
go. To pay their student loan debt because Joe won't forgive it all, right?
Yeah, which is pretty rude of him, but whatever.
Now he's had a rough couple of days. Give him a break.
Oh, yeah. It's been tough.
And before anyone writes me hate mail, my tongue is in my cheek. Well, yeah, that too.
I know.
I took a lot of heat over the student loan stuff, and my whole thing is it's just frustrating when you're told it's going to happen and then it doesn't. That's my only thing.
So I've been reading this text line about Casey Donahue at the Blue Note, and he was good, but he was entertaining. Who's Casey Donahue?
Oh, what? You mean you don't know who Casey Donahue is? What? Oh, my gosh.
Oh. You'll weigh in with yours, 573-874-9390. Call or text, and we will do that. Let's start with John Marsh. John Marsh, winner and loser nomination.
I've got a winner and a pack of losers. How's that sound?
Okay, I'm ready.
My winner is $62 million anonymous donation to Mizzou Athletics, which is going to fund some major renovations to Memorial Stadium. So
that's
thanks
good.
off to that Tiger alum. And I bet you can guess who our pack of losers are. Our pro-Palestinian protesters who took over an event in downtown Jefferson City.
Yep.
Even accosting Mayor Ron Fitzwater of Jefferson City. And one of them tried to wrestle Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft to the ground. And worse, called Jen Bukowski names and lived to tell about it.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
The first time that's happened.
There's Mike Murphy. I'm telling you, I will double down on that and triple down on that. And, I have to hand it to Jay Ashcroft. He was no wilting lily there. I mean, he fought back on that guy that accosted him.
He didn't want to go down.
No.
I don't blame him.
After his getting swatted at home a few weeks ago, I think Jay probably a little tense.
Public life nowadays. No walk in the park.
Unbelievable. Hannah, how about you?
My winner of the week, it's a large group of folks, but the Swifties, because they are trying really hard to find anything that's like a wink in the fandom. Taylor Swift is notorious for her Easter eggs, meaning she's always dropping little hints in things as to maybe what the next release is going to be or big projects she's working on, things like that. But there are lots of different theories about the number 13 and how it relates to the Super Bowl. 13, of course, being Taylor Swift's lucky number. In her younger years, she would draw the number on the back of her hand for her concerts and things like that, and it's kind of become a symbol of the Swiftie movement. But things like it's Super Bowl 58 and 5 + 8 equals. Randy?
Yeah.
5 + 8 equals.
I have to I'm a young pup. I identify as a 25-year-old. Brian Hansen and I both identify as 25-year-olds. So I have to get out. Do you have a cash register or a calculator around?
All
okay,
right,
13.
So,
Go ahead. 13.
Yeah, Super Bowl 58,
13.
5 + 8 is 13.
Oh, my gosh. You're reaching on this one.
No, this is not me. I'm reading a list off the internet. The date of the Super Bowl, February 11th. So the second month and the 11th day is 13.
Yeah, 13.
Okay.
Here you go. I didn't want to say it, but you made me.
This will be the 13th NFL game that Taylor Swift has attended.
The
Chiefs are playing the 49ers. 4 + 9 equals.
Okay. All right. 13. Yes. You're making me say this. You're shaming me into it.
The 49ers are the number 1 seed in the NFC, and the Chiefs are the 3 seed in the AFC. Taylor Swift, of course, has been performing in Tokyo this week on her Eras tour, and she will be flying back to Vegas. And the flight from Tokyo to Vegas is 13 hours.
Wow.
So I saw a clip and someone's like, and the 49ers still think they might win? It's sort of all the stars aligning.
Now, do you self-identify as a Swiftie?
A casual one.
Oh, talk about hedge your bets. You don't want to throw all in on that, eh?
I really liked, when I was growing up, her first stuff when she was country. I've started listening to her music more lately, of course. But, I don't know, I wasn't dropping thousands to go see her on the Eras tour or anything like that.
I have a different opinion of her after my wife talked about an interview with her mother that says she had or still does have a insecurity problem. And, and has overcome that to be. I mean, of course, a lot of big stars. Look at Johnny Carson in the old days, right? Was an introvert, and so a lot of people are like that, I guess, that are performers. But apparently, I mean, she grew up nothing, right? Basically. So,
yeah, just a girl from Philly.
Yeah, that's great.
This whole deal, my takeaway in this thing is it's sort of sounding like a 6 Degrees of Travis Kelce or something that we're working on here.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm fascinated by the stuff that goes on around the Super Bowl, and of course this year the Travis and Taylor story will be interesting. Mike Murphy, your winner. Did you do a loser? Yeah, you did loser, right? Did you, Hannah?
I didn't do a loser.
Would you please?
You put me on the
Think
spot,
about it,
man.
Mike Murphy.
I don't have any losers. I'm pulling a Hauswirth here.
Well, no
usually
losers.
Niners.
Oh, you are.
I would come in with. Usually, I'd come in with plenty. I don't have any losers, but I got some winners. How about Gary Pinkel, Mizzou coach, Hall of Famer, Columbia resident, named to the college football playoff selection committee. So that's really cool.
I like that.
Rhonda Parton is a senior executive at Boone Health. For 41 years, she has worked there. She's retiring in May. She's the executive director of provider and ambulatory services. She was the executive director of operations. 41 years and going into retirement.
Wow.
And here's an unusual one. These people get no love at all. The City of Columbia's Planning and Zoning Commission. They ride herd over the Unified Building Code, which is one of the least popular things. They say no to a lot of people, but they were responsible basically after 2 years of work and many meetings and data gathering of getting putting together this short-term rental ordinance that finally got passed by the city council. City council messed it up a little, but by and large, it's a great victory to get this thing on the books, because Columbia continuing to ride with those things operating outside of the law was getting ridiculous. And that's a big accomplishment for the city, and a lot of work and a lot of kudos should go to that Planning and Zoning Commission.
And I get the sense you think it's a fairly reasonable ordinance,
yeah,
right?
I do.
Fair.
I thought it was a great ordinance till the mayor got her hands on it, but that's another story. She only messed it up a little bit. It's still quite acceptable. I think everybody's kind of looking at this as, unless you're a few of the realtors or the short-term rental owners who are really getting gored in this thing. There's a few of them.
How are they getting gored?
If you are an investor owner who you went into a residential neighborhood and bought a home for the purpose of turning it into an Airbnb, you're likely going to be out of business. Now, if you own an Airbnb in the original model, you rent out a room in your house, you rent out a part of your garage, you rent out part of your basement, you're all good. You're going to have to get licensed, pay some fees, follow some regulations.
But if you're an investor and that's the sole purpose, why is that? What about the ordinance does it?
Well, that's the essence of the ordinance is they're going to prohibit an investor if you don't live in the house.
I see.
Because they don't want people going into neighborhoods and buying residential homes and operating a business.
Basically, single family home hotel.
Correct. It's a commercial enterprise in a residential neighborhood. Plus, it's pulling single family home stock off the market where there isn't enough of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. My losers, I think, parallel yours, John. I mean, the APEC protesters down there didn't do anything to advance their cause. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a vigorous vocal protest, but when you start getting physical, I think you just don't help your cause. And without regard to who's right and who's wrong, boy, that's just not good news. And when you start
got arrested.
Yep. When you start messing with people and touching them and getting in their way and blocking the way to an entrance, that's a non-starter. You know who my winner of the week is? Billy Joel. That got your attention, didn't it?
Cool. Yeah.
Billy Joel
coming on a new tune.
We watched that at the end of the Grammys. Billy Joel. Apparently,
wait, who is this guy? No, I'm just kidding. I know who.
I know you need more sleep, so that's what I'm talking about.
This microphone smells like a beer.
Billy Joel, he had his drug problems and alcohol problems and was in rehab back in early 2000s, and he'd checked out of the music scene for a while.
Almost went broke or did go broke.
Yep.
Came back.
And then he's been encouraged. He's been out of the business for a while, and then he was encouraged to get back into it. And it took some cajoling, apparently, from associates and writers and so forth. And this song, Turn the Lights Back On, was written as a love ballad, but it serves as a song about how he hasn't released a few in the past few years, released anything. And the lyrics, I think, hearken to maybe romances that the lights have flickered out a little bit, and potentially professionally, you might have lost a little bit there. Please open the door, nothing's different. We've been here before, pacing the halls, trying to talk. Laughs at the portraits that we've become, stuck in a frame, unable to change. I was wrong. I'm late, but I'm here right now. Though I used to be romantic, I forgot somehow. Time can make you blind, but I see you now. As we're laying in the darkness, did I wait too long to turn the lights back on? It's a poignant song. It's nice. So cheers for Billy Joel. Man, the guy he's an icon. He's a fabulous musician, fabulous performer, and he's making a comeback. We're glad about that. When we come back, we want to remind you about the chili cook-off. We're going to talk with someone from that organization. That's tomorrow morning. John Marsh is going to be involved. And Brian Hansen standing by, he was telling me they're going to be making predictions and taking bets on the game. Is that right, Brian? You're going to be taking bets on the game? No, I'm kidding you. But I know Brian's an avid Chiefs fan, so they'll probably be talking a little bit about that. And certainly about the SCOTUS hearings yesterday and other stuff. I love listening to Gary and Brian as they talk it up every day. Thank you all for texting as well. We had people texting about their favorite foods: Doritos, chili, cheese, and crackers, Little Smokies, Hawaiian bread with the center hollowed out, Doritos, chili, cheese, and crackers, chili. I'm thinking chili, John Marsh. Let's talk a little chili.
I think we should. We've got Mike Rhino in with us from Jefferson City's Navy Club Ship 5, and this is a Super Bowl Saturday tradition, Mike, going back how long? The big chili cook-off at the American Legion in Jefferson City.
The Navy Club had their first chili cook-off, I believe it was in 1987. That's quite a while ago. I wasn't there, so it's quite a while ago.
You're still on active duty.
Yes, I was.
What branch were you in, Mike?
I was in the Navy.
Wow. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for your service. Really, it's a huge commitment, and for a family too. Well, that's fabulous. Were you on tell us a little bit about that service?
I was in for almost 16 years. I was stationed on a minesweeper, one of the smallest ships that the Navy has. I was also on a carrier for 4 years. So
a minesweeper. That sounds like one of the. So let me guess. One of the smaller ships, probably one of the most treacherous ships to be on too, right?
Well, it rocked a little bit and not too heavy seas.
Oh,
so,
boy, I'm telling you.
I experienced quite a bit of seasickness there.
Wow, holy cow. So you're keeping an eye on what's going on over in the Red Sea, I'll bet, right? With all of the naval presence we have over in the Mediterranean as well. All of that going on.
Yeah. My heart and my thoughts go out to those guys that are out there in the Red Sea right now. Standing the watch.
So if listeners want to get a little pre-Super Bowl tasting and sampling of some chili and the various offerings there, how's it all work tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. The Navy Club Ship 5 of Jefferson City is holding their annual Navy Club Chili Cook-Off tomorrow at the American Legion at 1423 Tanner Bridge Road. And if you come out, we're open to the public from 11 to 1. And we'll have sampling of the contestants' chili. Should have several entries, we're hoping. And we'll also have our house chili. We'll have chili and hot dogs for the public. It's all you can eat for $6 a person, $3 a child under 12. Come out for a couple hours, have a good time.
Talk to us about Camp Quality, who the funds raised goes for.
Right. We do this to benefit Camp Quality. Camp Quality is a camp here in central Missouri for children with cancer. Not just the child, but there's, quote, an attendant that goes with the child. And that gives the child a chance for a week to enjoy being at camp. The attendant, of course, there is to make sure the child has all the proper care that they need while they're there. And generally, the cost of the child includes the attendant.
So how many children can you support with an event like this?
Our goal each year has been to support one child for the summer or for a week at camp. And sometimes we make two, but our goal is one.
Well, that's fabulous.
We hope to do everything we can.
Yeah. How's the weather looking tomorrow? I haven't seen that. We're going to be okay?
Partly cloudy and a high of 50, so I think that's not bad for February. We've had worse ones, haven't we, Mike?
Yes, we have. We've been out trying to salt the driveway and parking lot.
Well, there's some talk of some snow, but I think, isn't that a little south of us? Or am I wrong?
think they're talking that for potentially overnight Sunday into our morning drive on Monday.
So that won't bother us at all. Well, that'll be great, and partly cloudy. And then,
Mike, a question that we always ask you every year. What makes a good chili? And two, what's the weirdest thing anybody's put in their chili?
Well, like I said before, we've gotten rid of the hottest chili category because sometimes that just killed the rest of the day.
And some of the judges.
Yeah. But chili is a different thing to a lot of people. It can be meat, or no beans. It can be beef, chicken, turkey,
roadkill,
squirrel. You never know. It's just there's a lot of different chili recipes, and this is a good opportunity to try some. I've had some sweet chili out there, which surprised me at how flavorful it was and how much I liked it. Didn't think I was a big sweet chili fan, but it wasn't bad. It's a good opportunity, though, to try different things.
Hey, now, in these days when everyone's being asked to do DEI and, everything, and climate change is everywhere. Are you thinking maybe you might be coerced by the government sometime to do away with gas, with beans because of all the methane that could be created? I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, never had that problem yet here. People go home, and I don't know what happens there. I don't ask. So
you might be asked to have a carbon capture device sometime at the next chili cook-off.
That'd be something else on the side, Mike. Yeah, you charge them $6 to get in and
get a carbon credit.
That's it, carbon credits. There you go.
Yeah, those people that have the beans in their chili have to pay a surcharge.
Yep.
Oh, man. Can you believe there are people that actually are talking about this with our domestic animals and everything? Oh, that's crazy. One final question before we let you go. Your name is Mike Rhino, but it's not spelled R-I-N-O, right? Yeah, got to make it clear on that, right?
Yes.
As we point out to Mike, a rhino in name only.
Yeah.
Politically handicapped here.
What ancestry is Rhino? That's an interesting name.
That's something we're not real sure. Some say it's shortened from a French name, Renault or something like that. Okay. And some say it's a German name that's been shortened. I'm not sure what it is. I know there's an Irish or Celtic